This meeting is now called to order Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Councilman Vanchery, can you lead us in the flag salute? All rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mrs. Kraus, can you please read the statement of public notice?
Sure. Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. The notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on March 11th, 2022. A copy of the notice was mailed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the township clerk on said date. The link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Present.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Present.
Councilmember Seaver,
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Present.
Council President Scova.
Present. At this time, we'll read the proclamations. Councilman Vanchery, the Italian American Heritage Month proclamation.
Sure. Thank you, Council President. Italian American Heritage Month is the proclamation I'm about to read. Whereas October is National Italian American Heritage and Cultural Month and has been celebrated as such since 1989. And whereas from the early explorers to the 5.5 million working class immigrants who arrived in the United States around the beginning of the 20th century, Italian Americans have helped shape and develop our nation. And whereas Italian Americans have made significant economic and cultural contributions to our nation in the areas of government, science and technology, arts and entertainment, literature, products and design, and food. And whereas Italian Heritage Month is a time to celebrate our Italian American community and to recognize their many contributions to the growth and prosperity of our nation. Now, therefore, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaims the month of October 2022 as Italian American Heritage and Culture Month in the Township of Little Falls.
Thank you, Councilman Vanchery. Councilmember Hablitz, breast cancer awareness.
Yes, thank you. About to read the proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed form of cancer for women in the United States, and each year 255,000 women and 2,300 men are diagnosed each year. And whereas mammography and X-ray of the breast is recognized as the single most effective method of detecting breast changes long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. Early detection and improved treatment is believed to be significantly reducing the number of deaths caused by breast cancer. And whereas researchers, scientists, and numerous nonprofit organizations are dedicated to discovering the cure for breast cancer. During the month of October, we acknowledge the extraordinary commitment and effort invested in the cause. And whereas we recognize that over 3.8 million Americans are breast cancer survivors that give us hope for a better future. Now, therefore, with the support of those who continue to cope with breast cancer, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, on behalf of the Township Council, extend our deepest respect for the survivors and those advocating for prevention and a cause. And in doing so, I hereby proclaim October 2022 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you. Councilman Kawadi, domestic violence awareness.
Yes, thank you, Council President. We just raised the flag for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I hope you'll notice it outside if you drive past Town Hall. And the proclamation reads, whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, gender, and income levels. And whereas domestic violence is widespread and affects over 10 million Americans each year. And whereas 1 in 3 Americans have witnessed an incident of domestic violence. And whereas children that grow up in violent homes are believed to be abused and neglected at a rate higher than the national average. And whereas only a coordinated community effort will put a stop to this heinous crime. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for citizens to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, service, and assistance to victims. Now therefore, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, on behalf of the Township Council, hereby proclaims the month of October 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urges the residents of Little Falls to work together to eliminate domestic violence from our community.
Thank you, Councilman Kwadi. This month is also Fire Prevention Month. Whereas Fire Prevention Week this year falls between October 9th and October 15th. The theme is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. And whereas fire is a serious public safety issue and residents' homes are at great risk for fires. And whereas smoke alarms can alert you of danger in the event of fire in which you have little as less than 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas first responders are dedicated to the safety and well-being of our residents. Now therefore be resolved that Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim October 9th through October 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week in the Township of Little Falls. Councilmember Seaver, National First Responders.
Thank you. I'm proud to read the proclamation for the National First Responders Day proclamation. So whereas National First Responders Day is recognized on October 28th and is a time to honor the men and women who make it their mission to take action when disaster strikes. And whereas we celebrate those who are the first to run toward a crisis and dedicate their lives to saving others. And whereas we pay tribute to the many hours around the clock these individuals give to our community. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim October 28th, 2022 as National First Responders Day in the Township of Little Falls.
Thank you, Councilmember Seaver. Have a motion to open to the meeting to public for general matters and agenda items.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Seaver, second by Councilmember Vanchery. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by signify by saying nay. That motion carries. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. Please give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open. Mr. Kusha, is there anyone in the chat that'd like to speak?
Do not believe that there is. Yes.
Is that Mr. John Vettery with his hand up?
No,
No.
it's not.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh,
Excuse me.
Nope, that's the person.
I'm sorry.
pardon me.
Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public comment? Moved by Councilmember Vanchery, second by Councilmember Hablis. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of closing the public comment do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to that motion do so by saying nay. Motion carries. Items to be discussed, resolution number 1, approving change order for Second Avenue sanitation or sewer improvements. This is from Second Avenue, as the council knows, and for the public, that every time we repave a road, the engineers take a look at the sewers, so we don't have to open up that newly paved road and fix the sewers. The engineers send down a camera down the sewer line to see the conditions and what work needs to be done. In this particular case, we're pretty fortunate that the lining needed to be done and not the whole sewer. So that's what this resolution is for. Are there any questions regarding that? Resolution number 2, awarding contract for Hemlock Road improvements. This, as the council knows, the roadway was given to us by the Sacred Heart Armenian Church, which was nice of them. And we're going to turn Hemlock into a cul-de-sac with no access out onto Long Hill Road. The residents have been asking this for quite some time. It's also quite a hazard during the winter months when DPW tries to plow that road, and it's a rock road that the rocks go out onto Long Hill Road. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is our last 2022, right? Our last unpaved road in the township of Little Falls that has to be paved. Are there any questions regarding that? Move on to resolution number 3. This is simply renewing our membership in the Suburban Metro Joint Insurance Fund. It's just authorizing, the council is going to authorize for us just to stay in the fund. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? Duly noted that our business administrator, Mr. Cuscio, does sit on that board. Last ordinance number 1445, prohibiting parking sections on Main Street. This is from Main Street to Fairfield. Making this ordinance that you can't park on that side of the street. Any questions regarding that ordinance? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions A through D at this time? Moved by Councilmember Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hablitz. This is a roll call. Mrs. Kraus, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. At this time, Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1445.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1445, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, further amending the Township of Little Falls Code, Chapter 7, Article 1, Section 7-13, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets.
Thank you. The public hearing on 1445 is now open, so the floor is open if anyone would like to speak on 1445. Seeing that no one wants to come forward, we are now closed to the public on 1445. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1445?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kawadi, second by Councilmember Vanchery. This is a roll call to adopt 1445. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. We'll move on to council reports. Councilmember Vanchery.
Thanks, Council President. Prior to the start of this meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, we had a chance to raise the Italian flag in recognition of Italian American Heritage Month. Just want to thank the council for being there, as well as the members of the Passaic County Unico Society for being there as well. It was nice to celebrate, and I think Councilman Quaddy, you and I have luck with events lately. Every time we seem to schedule something, it starts raining. But I just want to thank everyone as we recognize many Italian Americans this month. A couple other things I just want to mention. I do need to give some kudos to my colleagues, Councilwoman Sieber and Councilwoman Hablitz, for organizing a great Run Little Falls yesterday. Proud to say I ran the race and finished, no injuries, a little sore today, of course, but just want to say thank you. It was a great job. A lot of positive feedback from the residents that participated. And, I had 3 young ladies who play for my soccer team. They all ran pretty well. They were happy. So it's a good start. Hopefully next year I'll have the whole team run, but just want to, acknowledge the 2 of you for the work that you did. And just lastly, I just want to mention too, the Little Falls PBA had their Oktoberfest over the weekend. Just want to say thank you. It was a good event. It was nice to see the community out there to support the Little Falls PBA 346, the various vendors that were out there, from the Cub Scouts to food trucks as well. So good job by the PBA. That's it, Council President.
Thank you for that report. Councilmember Quaddy.
Thank you, Council President. We also raised the flag tonight for domestic violence prevention, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the members of the Domestic Violence Prevention Committee were there. I will say to Councilman Vanchery, we held 5 movie nights and Water Fun Fest with no rain. And it wasn't until we joined your flag racing that we had a rainy event. So I'm blaming you. But it was a very nice flag raising. We've chosen to do this in lieu of the vigil that we used to hold, because it just seems to last longer, that people can come by and see the flag flying over Town Hall and be made aware that this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so I want to thank the council, obviously the mayor who couldn't be here, and the members of the committee for their participation and hard work in that event. Congratulations to Councilwoman Sieber and Hablitz, Councilwomen Sieber and Hablitz, on the 5K, which was a huge success. I'll let them talk about it, but I want to express my congratulations to them and to the Little Falls business community for putting on the Fall Festival once again. And that event finally avoided some rain at its new location in Wilmore Road Park and was a great success as well. I think Councilman Vanchery donned a sack and, or was it the three-legged race? The three-legged race. But he did not win. And so may not have even finished. But it was that was a great event. We also all, the mayor and council, I also want to thank them on behalf of the Boy Scouts, of which my son is a member. We all attended the Boy Scouts Court of Honor and watched the Scouts receive their promotions and merit badges and all of that. And that was a great event put on by the Boy Scouts. And that is it for me, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Quadri. Councilmember Havelitz.
Thank you, Council President. So I'd like to thank my fellow councilmen here, Councilman Quadri and Vanchery, for putting the proclamations and the flag raisings on tonight in the rain. It takes a lot of dedication to do what you both do with domestic violence and with all the things that you do for the American Legion and the Italian American Unico Association. So thank you very much. Thank you to Councilwoman Sieber. The run this weekend, could not do it without her. So thank you very much. It's amazing to do the projects and events that we have come up with and put on together, the two of us and the council in general. So thank you so much. Just some updates for the library. The library has a new program that they are starting for adults. It is Yarn Lovers. It's a crocheting and knitting group. It's going to be the first and third Tuesdays from 10 to 12 p.m. starting on October 4th, running through December 20th. They ask that you bring your own yarn and tools, but it's a new class that they are having for adults. They're also hosting, their teen advisory board is hosting a movie this Friday night, Thor, Love and Thunder. So it's this Friday night, 10/7 at 5:30, and they still have lots of events. They also have their chess club, which is ongoing on Wednesdays at 3:30 with Mr. Campbell. The Friends of the Library will be hosting their book sale as a fundraiser for the library. They're currently collecting books and the sale will be October 21st and 22nd. They're also hosting a clothing drive on October 22nd, all fundraisers to help the library. And the next meeting of the Friends is October 18th, and they are looking for members. So if you want to join, come on down to the meeting on October the 18th. Lastly, just wanted to talk about the farmers market a little bit. The farmers market is still going strong. I'd like to thank the Junior Hornets cheerleaders for coming out to the market and cheering on our runners this past Sunday. Everyone at the market enjoyed seeing them and our runners as well. There are 4 more markets coming this weekend. We will have our breast cancer awareness event. The following Sunday, we are having children's pumpkin painting sponsored by the Recreation Center. On October 23rd, our Little Falls Biz is having a doggy costume contest at the market. And our last market of the fall, October 30th, we will have our vendor trick or treat. That's all I have. Thank you.
It's quite a lot. Thank you, Councilmember Havelitz. Councilmember Sieber.
Thank you. So as a few of our council members have already mentioned, but this past Sunday or yesterday was our Little Falls Run 5K. And this definitely would not have been really even barely a vision without the mayor and the rest of the council members. So thank you very much for letting this happen in our town, as well as our rec department. We had many volunteers and workers from our recreation department, including Tyler Passaro and Mr. John Peace. We also have to thank our police department, which definitely helps with traffic flow, road closures, etc. And then we have our DPW, cannot thank them enough for setting up cones and barricades. And then we have our OEM, also stations for the safety of all of our members and our runners. We have our Girl Scouts and our Boy Scouts handing out water and food. And then we also have our PV track team also as volunteers for safety along the route. And then, of course, we even have additional volunteers like Mackenzie Taylor, who helped give out t-shirts and was just so honored to have so many volunteers make this happen. And with that, even though we have a lot of volunteers, we also have a lot of sponsors. And so I just wanted to thank them all. We have Rare Steakhouse here in Little Falls. We have the ShopRite of Little Falls. We have Schumacher Chevrolet, Lakeland Bank, the Gastrology Associates of New Jersey, Brucato Foot and Ankle, AIM Orthopedics, Total Recovery PT, Hanson and Ryan, Studio 3D, Falvian Agency, ShopRite Liquors, The Shack at Little Falls Sports and Recreation Complex, Basque Bar and Grill, Only What You Need, and Whole Foods. So I thank everybody for all their volunteer work. And I thank everybody for all their sponsorships, as well as the support of the mayor and council. Without that, none of this would be possible for all these runners to kind of get out and continue to bring the community together. So thank you.
Thank you for that report. Come this October 21st, the Senior Advisory is going to be holding their biggest event of the year, Harvest Moon Dance. For those that want to attend, you could call the clerk's office or Janet Cohen, who's on the flyer. Music will be supplied by by DJ Angelo. And this year, we're going to have the Girl Scouts help serve that event. Usually we get the Boy Scouts, but this year we're going to have the Girl Scouts. So that's on 10/21 at the Civic Center. All seniors of Little Falls are free. Outside, for seniors pay $5. I do want to make a comment at the past Oktoberfest. I witnessed a potential situation that could have got really violent. Officer Tromlin, who was at the event, asked an attendee of that event to not take their alcohol beverage out to the roadway. Upon him telling that person that statement, that individual got quite nasty and rude and was quite taken back and was saying really ugly statements to Officer Tromlin. That situation could have potentially turned into a nightmare quickly. And his poise and his professionalism took that situation. I think Councilman Quaddi and Councilman Hablitz, who are near me, took that potential situation and toned it down, and nothing occurred from it. A situation that could have got, unfortunately, I don't think that individual knew Officer Tromlin was not in his officer uniform. However, I wouldn't want to be that individual. If that Officer Tromlin would have came after me, I mean, it would have gotten really nasty quickly. But his professionalism showed the great training that he had, and great tributes to the Little Falls Police Department. We'll move on. Can I have a motion to open to public for agenda items? Moved by Councilmember Vanchery.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Vanchery. I'm sorry, Councilman Kawhi. I apologize. This is a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to that motion do so by saying nay. Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. Please give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you. The floor is now open. Mr. Kusia, does anyone like to speak on the chat?
No one on the chat.
Seeing no one that wants to come before this governing body, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Quaddi,
Second.
second by Councilmember Vanchery. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of closing public comment do so by saying aye.
Aye.
For those opposed to that motion, do so by saying nay. Motion carries. I want to thank the staff for helping conduct this meeting tonight. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember
Second.
Receiver, second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor do so by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by signify by saying nay. Motion carries. This meeting is now closed.